After Samsung's Note 7 fiasco, I decided to get the next Note phone that's going to be released. Because I didn't think what happened to Samsung was funny, and I wanted to support them. And here it is. I pre-ordered this phone on September 8th for $1,1600.01, and it was supposed to come out on the 15th, but it arrived a couple of days ago. So now I can tell you what I think about this as a person who never owned an Android phone, as a person who has been using iPhones for the last 10 years. And here it is! Note 8 comes in this black box and it is unwrapped. You slide the outer part out and open the box inside and voila! Here it is. This is a very good looking person in the reflection. It comes with some papers but no stickers if you're too used to iPhones, the charging brick, micro USB to USB-C converter, USB to USB-C converter, different size earplugs for AKG headphones, extra tips for the S Pen, and USB-C cable. Now, as is tradition, let's commence to the sizzle test. Note 8 can't impress any iPhone fans with that, but it's okay, because this monstrous phone packs an 8-core 2350 MHz 64-bit 10nm processor and 6GB of RAM. So when you run the Geekbench 4 test, even though iPhone 7 Plus finishes it in 2 minutes and 31 seconds where Note 8 finishes it in 4 minutes and 3 seconds, Note 8's multi-core score is higher than 1-year-old iPhone 7 Plus. That is great, unless you've seen iPhone 8/X's Geekbench test results. But since most people don't care about these tests anymore, we can move along. When it comes to the screen, Note 8 has 552 pixel per inch 6.3-inch Super AMOLED screen that has 1440 by 2960 pixels. Freshly announced iPhone X has 458 pixel per inch 5.8-inch Super Retina display that has 1125 by 2436 pixels. iPhone 7 and iPhone 8 has 401 pixel per inch 5.5-inch Retina display that has 1080 by 1920 pixels. Let's zoom into those screens 21 times and see the difference. This is the same 40 megapixel photo displayed on both devices. In case you're wondering, yes, I've removed my matte screen protector from my iPhone 7 Plus before shooting this test. According to DisplayMate.com, Samsung Note 8 has the maximum brightness of 1200 nits and infinite contrast ratio. The same site says iPhone 7 Plus has 705 nits brightness and 1700 contrast ratio. iPhone X has 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio and same brightness with other iPhones, which is 625 nits according to Apple's website. Both cameras' auto brightness is turned off and the brightness is set to maximum. This is a little difficult to show in a test like this, but if you look carefully, under Los Angeles sunlight, you can see that Note 8's screen is brighter. When it comes to cameras, Note 8 has 12 megapixel dual camera at the back. Wide-angle camera has 1/2.55-inch sensor with f1.7 aperture and 77 degrees field of view. Telephoto camera has 1/3.6-inch smaller sensor, f2.4 aperture and 45 degrees field of view. Compared to iPhone 7 Plus, I think the colors look a little bit yellow tinted. Years ago, while comparing iPhone 4 to iPhone 4S, I came across the same thing. So instead of saying what I'm seeing, I'm gonna let you watch it and I'd like you to tell me what you see in the comment section below. This is the low light test, and you're hearing the sound recorded with the prompted device. Needless to say, Note 8 records stereo audio and iPhone records in mono. Just like the rest of the camera test, nothing is edited. When it comes to optic image stabilization, I see a little wobbling and jitter on Note 8's footage, but that's okay. Since Note 8 Plus Android gives you and the developers much more freedom, unlike iPhone, when you mount this phone on an Osmo Mobile, the DJI Go app can turn off optic image stabilization and you can run and run and run as you wish, and the footage just looks fine. Both devices can shoot portrait mode photos using two cameras to blur out the background. So which one do you think is better? While you're shooting video, if you set your frame rate or resolution about 1080p 30 frames per second to something like 1080p 60 frames per second QHD or 4K, you have 10-minute limit. iPhone 7 Plus doesn't have such limit. Right after I did my camera comparison shoot where I used both phones exactly the same amount of time, I checked the temperature on both devices and Note 8 was cooler. Now let's get our XY mic out and test the mono speaker on Note 8 and compare it to iPhone 7 Plus's stereo speakers.
Products like Pokemon and stuff, but that's the reason you see so many iPhones out in the wild right now chasing Pokemons.
What?
Chasing Pokemons.
What? Hi Tim, where you going with a phone in your hand?
Chasing Pokemons. Chasing Pokemons.
Don't you know you may fall in a lake?
Chasing Pokemons. Chasing Pokemons.
I like to talk about the things that amazed me. Now, I know Samsung doesn't mean Android and Android doesn't mean Samsung, but this is my first experience. This is the first time I spent this much time with an Android phone. So let's begin. First of all, the fact that I can customize this main screen is amazing. I can put whatever I want here. I can carry them around. I can resize it. Why? Why am I allowed to do this? I shouldn't be allowed to do this. So I created myself this. It's really difficult to make things look good because look how untidy and ugly this looks. But it is really nice to have it there. This edge is very useful. You can open two apps in one window. That is a nice feature, and I can just grab this and move it around. Of course, when the keyboard comes in, things get a little squeezed, but still, it's a very nice feature. I can use swipe, even though when you want to write buy, it always writes byte. There are a lot of things that this phone can do. The fact that I can remove the backgrounds of these apps, I like that. It gives variety to the screen. Yes, this is very neat. Everything looks very organized. I like it a lot when it's organized like this, but this is more alive. There are a lot of tiny features that I really like. For example, when you're turning the volume down, when you turn it all the way down, first it activates vibrate, and if you go hit one more, then it's completely silent. If you hit this down arrow, or if you just pull it down, you can change the volume of different things like media, notifications, come back. Where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go? Trying to say nice things about you. While we're up here, let's look at this. The notification center is designed so beautifully that you can do a lot of things just in here. You don't need to get out of your app. You don't need to go into your settings. You don't need to find what you have to do. And let's say you want to adjust something. Let's say you want to turn Bluetooth off. You just touch this, it is turned off. Let's say if you want to connect to devices, then you touch the bottom part of it. And let's say you want to go into Bluetooth settings. You just hold it down and it goes into Bluetooth settings. This is so nice. And it makes things so much faster. Wait, I'm gonna show you something. By the way, Note 8 doesn't fit into Spark's remote with a case. So if you have a case, it doesn't fit. We all know what happens when you take the case off. You block the ambient light sensor and the fingerprint scanner on the iPhone. But with this one, the fingerprint is here, so I can just touch that. Let's say I want to adjust the brightness of the screen, I can just slide this down. And I have my brightness level right there, and I can just tap auto brightness and I'm set. Do you know where auto brightness is in iOS 11? Do you know where it is? Let me show you where it is in iOS 11. Well, take a guess. Do you think it's under display and brightness? Well, no. Your auto brightness settings is in general, accessibility, and then somewhere here. It's here somewhere. Display accommodations. Auto brightness. This is why this is why people make fun of Apple. What is this? Double tap the power button, you go into camera. Note 8 also has always on display. And you go here and then you touch it and it's turned on. So now, let's say your phone is here. You can see the time, has a nice background with stars. You can change it to whatever you want. Another really nice thing. You see the power button here, power button is here. The power button on iPhone is here. And what is right across from the power button? The volume up button. What is right across from the power button on Note 8? Nothing. So if you wanna squeeze the power button, you can just squeeze the power button. Apple, come on. Tim, come and take a look at this. Come here. Tim, come here. I'm gonna show you something. The biometrics on this phone doesn't work all the time. So you need to do something like this to make it work. When you're wearing glasses, it doesn't work at all. So while I was outside, I had a lot of problems while trying to unlock this phone. I also didn't really enjoy the fingerprint being on the back. Not because I accidentally touched the lens. Everyone says that, but I never accidentally touched the lens because you know it's here and then you can come from this side and just slide in and then you're not touching the lens. How hard is it? You don't have to come from here. And I'm touching the lens all the time because of this fingerprint. Just come from here and there, you're not touching it. But let's say this is on the table and it's turned off and you want to do something and then you touch it. What? I'm supposed to do this? Come on, biometrics, come on. I found that a little bit tiring, actually. And it makes me worried about iPhone X because I think iPhone X will have similar problems. When iPhone 6 was announced, I released an article. In that article, I talked about why I preferred iPhone 6 Plus to iPhone 6. But I also talked about the things that are lacking. This is what I said the reachability should be like. I wrote this article in October 2014. Guess what this does? When you slide from here, I really lost my mind when I saw this. You can move it around. If you want it this big, just leave it there. If you want it this small, just leave it there. And it just doesn't end there as well. You can go from top and make this screen smaller, like a window we have in our computers. And you can carry that around and leave it wherever you want. I love this. And then we have S Pen. I was skeptical about S Pen, but it does work good. Especially when the screen is off, you can start taking notes. You can write whatever you want. If you hold this tiny button down, you can delete whatever you wrote. You can write something here, scroll with this finger, write more stuff. Scroll with this finger. There are, of course, things that doesn't work for people like me, and one of them is this, moving around. The headphone jack and these speakers and this USB-C entrance isn't really aligned, and this S-Pen looks like it's a little turned inside this hole. And then we have two assistants, one phone. Yes, we have the Google Assistant. Show me the latest video from iPhonedo.
Here are the top search results. The first is from YouTube.
She knows iPhonedo. Show me the latest video from iPhonedo.
Here's what I found on the web for the latest video from iPhone.
Let's try Bixby. Show me the latest video from iPhonedo. I didn't quite catch that. Say again. Bixby is the special one. Hi Bixby, how are you?
Okay, here is what I found on the web.
There's another thing I like to talk about, and that is when we go into the front-facing camera right here. There's this tiny button right there. You can play with your skin tone, and it's just getting rid of my wrinkles. And then we have spotlight, where I can add a light. You see it's on my forehead now. So on the right side, it's on the left side. I can make it brighter. You know, these are not bad. But then we have slim face. And then large eyes. And then shape correction. And now I can take a photo. Yes, perfect. Also, another thing I didn't like, or maybe I wasn't able to figure it out, can be both of those. These couple of things I'm going to say can be that I wasn't able to figure it out, but there's no voicemail. Where's the visual voicemail we have in the iPhone where we can see who called and it's transcripted? We don't have a voicemail. This keeps popping up, so I have to call back to listen to my voicemail. There are voicemail apps that I can download. I downloaded the AT&T one and it didn't work. The SIM tray is plastic and feels like you can accidentally break it. That is something I was surprised to see. Let's go to a web page. Tumblr. As you can see, it just storms through it. When I'm down here with the iPhone, I can just touch this and I can scroll all the way up with this. I don't know how to scroll all the way up. I don't know how to do that. If you do, please let me know. I can just hold this down and move my cursor and I can select things. I wish we had something similar here so I can move my cursor, because I just have to touch exactly the right spot with this, find the right place for the cursor. When you go into your photos, the older photo, you have to scroll this way to go to the old photo. Which is a little weird for me, because to go to the older photo, I like scrolling to the right, not left. Because when you imagine a calendar, the last day is on the right end. So if you want to go back, you go to the left. Got it, a case. And the size-wise and the weight-wise, it's not very different than iPhone 7 Plus. See, when you look at them like this, you can't really tell how much bigger Note 8 is. I don't think Note 8 can be my main phone because of reasons such as iMessage, FaceTime, AirDrop, AirPlay, because of the ecosystem I have here, the ecosystem I built in years. iPhone has 2900 mAh battery and Note 8 has 3300 mAh battery. Also, the battery life isn't that good. It was actually, when I used these two phones for testing, I did more or less exactly the same thing with two phones. And this drained extremely fast. This was down to 30%, while this was still in 70%. And don't forget, this is a 1-year-old phone. So the battery life is not as good as when it was brand new. It also has iOS 11 beta 10 on it, but I'm really happy I bought this phone. I think it's gonna be a really good addition to my arsenal. I can tell you this, Note 8 did what DJI Phantom 4 did to me. As soon as I heard about it, I wanted it. And so far, I'm happy with my purchase. Well, thank you very much for watching this episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit that subscribe button. I must have a subscribe button somewhere here on the screen. Hit that subscribe button and play Ding Dong Ditch with the bell next to it and join the world domination. And please let me know what you think about Galaxy Note 8 in the comment section. Who the hell are you? In the comment section below. And until I see you the next time, take really good care of yourselves and hoşça kalın.